So when it comes to this week spiritually, I know that I feel like I haven't gained a whole lot. I feel like I haven't really grown that much. And that happens a lot in a spiritual walk, is you'll be doing something and then there's this thing called patience. So the one thing you don't want to do when it comes to growth with the Lord is just sit back, do nothing, and wait. Because this is the one area I can tell you, when you're just waiting for God to move, you should still be doing something. Laying around, there are times when, we talk about rest and Sabbath, and that's an important one, which is another topic for another day. And we're supposed to be doing works and doing things for His kingdom. So, there's times when we can just sit and rest with Jesus, I call it, and just relax. But we don't want to spend every day like this. This is one that's you got to be careful of, because if you're not working, then can you expect Him to work in your life? I didn't do my best with my training and my nutrition. That's okay. Spiritually, I like to think though, I was kind of in the same place. I was kind of stagnant. I was doing certain things, let's say in my walk, to hopefully, push myself a little bit further, to grow a little bit with the Lord every day. And it just was one of those weeks where I was just kind of discouraged, just didn't see a whole lot. And it was one of those things where that's what happens, is sometimes you're waiting on the Lord, and it's a hard one. There's 4 answers that I generally expect when it comes to prayer requests. It's God says yes, no, slow, and grow. And I just feel like this is one of those times where it's like growth. Attending church service is one thing you can do. It's a good start to get a form of worship. There's a lot of different ways we can serve and grow with God. Reading His Word is a great start, and it's a great step if you're not doing that. That's something I am doing though, as I'm in the Word. I'm going to different places to try and get encouragement, to see, some of the great prophets just had to wait, and the amount of years they had to do sometimes is just kind of blows my mind and reminds me that, hey, in my steps, we're in a fast-paced society, and so we kind of expect things to happen quickly, and the Lord can do that and answer yeses, and they happen within minutes sometimes, and that's what grows your bond stronger. But when you're waiting, it's harder. So one thing that happened to me specifically this week, especially when I was a little more discouraged, is I got some encouragement from someone special, and actually it's a new book to read. I'll get to read something new, read about another testimony, someone else who went through persecution and a little bit about their life stories. So I'm going to be reading that this week, because the Word is always the place we want to go, but sometimes there's other stories, other than people in the Bible, and I think it's really important, watch different, say, shows or testimonies or, just things in life. A lot of people don't like to talk about faith, and especially if you're more timid doing it, this is a great place to start, is to go to a book and read about someone else's. And sometimes journaling is a way to do your own. So writing and reading is a great way to do that. And even though I still do, say, a spiritual journal in some senses, I'm not as detailed in it. I haven't been lately, just because I've been a little discouraged. But it's one of those things that when you're reading about someone else's story, you can get that motivation, get that encouragement, and really your faith grows through others. And that's kind of what's happening for me, is as I got this book, it was a reminder, hey, there's people walking with the Lord. Just because we're not always talking about it, it's okay. I like to talk about these things, and just because other people don't doesn't mean they're not walking. It's just a different walk. And that's probably the biggest part of this message for this week, is that we all have different walks. And no matter where you're at, whether you're in His Word or reading about someone that's on a journey, or writing about your own, or just, seeing things every day and getting stronger in your prayer life, whatever it is. I guess this week isn't the best talk, but this is kind of what happens in our growth with Jesus, is that we don't necessarily see things happening, but there's a lot happening behind the scenes. You just have to believe it's going to happen and really look forward to the things that are yet to come. So that's all I got for this episode. Take care. Peace out.